Hey there creators, Niamh here, and I'm doing another sewing video, and this one is going to be kind of a Halloween video, and the reason I'm doing it now instead of like, you know, a couple weeks before Halloween is because all of the month of October I am going to be doing Inktober. So every Friday video is going to be the sketches and stuff that I did that week for Inktober. So if you don't know what Inktober is, I'll leave a link in the description, but it's basically an art challenge where you have to use ink every day and basically do a sketch and then upload it to social media. So anyway, this video is not about Inktober, but it is about Halloween. And so for last year for Christmas, I made my daughter, my middle daughter, a Pokemon belt, a Poke Trainer belt. And it goes like this, and each one has it's a belt, and it goes around her waist like this. It's got her name embroidered on the inside, and each of these is big enough to hold these toy Pokemon balls. One of these, and so, and those hold Pokemon in there. So they have several of those. My daughter's a big fan of Pokemon. My son is too. It's more my daughter, but my son is too. For this year for Halloween, both my son and my daughter would like to be a Poke Trainer for Halloween. So, so Rhiannon already has her belt ready. So she's gonna wear a belt, and I got her a Pokemon hat, so she's gonna wear that, and basically just some clothes that kind of look like a Poke Trainer. But my son does not have a Pokemon belt, so a Pokébelt. So I got some fabric for him, and he picked this out. These have all the evolutions on here. So I'm going to get this started and start cutting out some fabric, and I'll try to put in the information of what sizes I'm using and what I'm cutting out. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this video, and if you like what you see and you want to see more, click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon too. All right. So the width of the belt is 2.5 inches. So I'm doubling that to 5 inches so that I can fold it over. The length of the belt itself is the waist measurement plus about 3 to 4 inches. So I cut out all the fabric needed. I have the long strip, the actual belt part, and I did iron it in half here because they will be joined like this. It's just that I need to, one side I need to embroider his name and do any other decoration I want on it. And then on the other side, this is where it's going to attach to, where these are going to attach to it, and then they get sewn together like that. So yeah, so that's the belt part, and these are the pouch parts for the Pokeballs. And these just get sewn straight together. So I am going to, you know, a lot of times if you're going to turn and stitch, then you would put them together, top side facing together like that, if you would turn them inside out. But I'm not turning them inside out really. So I'm going to sew like this. I'm going to sew each of them inside out, and then I'll place this inside of that. That's right. I'm trying to remember what I did last time. Alright, so I'm just going to fold everything together and do that part. just sewn the sides of each of these inside out, of course. And now I'm going to move on to the orange fabric, and what this fabric actually is a water resistant, waterproof fabric, and it's the fabric that I would use when I'm making like cloth diapers. I use cloth diapers with my kids when they were babies, and the fabric that's used to make those is polyurethane laminate is what it's called. PUL for short, P-U-L. And one side is regular fabric, and then the other side is a kind of a plastic fabric coating. And that's what keeps it water resistant and why you use them with cloth diapers. But sewing the side that with the plastic causes it to bunch up under the machine. I've tried to sew this many times just straight on it, and it just doesn't work. So what I do when I have to sew on the plastic side of PUL is I grab my stabilizer from my embroidery machine, and I just grab the tearaway kind, and I just set it right here, because you're not going to see this, so most of it will tear away and you're not going to see it, but it allows a flat, it allows a surface that I can sew on that's not the polyurethane laminate. And I'll get this started right now. Now, since this is going inside these, I'm sewing a little bit further in than I did on those. About right there. All right. So that's basically what it does. It sews over that, and since this is tearaway, I can just tear it off. See? So that's my solution for sewing PUL fabric, not on the shiny side. Just use some sort of overlay that you can take off or that won't be seen. So there we go. Now everything's been sewn together. Each flap has been sewn together, and I trimmed off the excess in each. And now it comes to the point where we have to put in the corner stitch to make it flat. So what you do, you take this seam and you split it in half like this, so that it's like that. And you want to make a little triangle. So we're going to sew across about somewhere in here, so that it creates a flat bottom, so that it goes like that, a flat bottom. So to do this, we have to measure out how much we want to go, and the Pokéballs that are going to go in here, they have about a 3-inch diameter. So I want to put at least 3 inches where it's not sewn. So here's right now this is 3 inches on both sides. I don't want to do 3 inches on both sides. I want to do about an inch and, sorry. Yeah, 1 3/4 inches on each side. So that's about right here, over here, and 1 3/4 inches right there. So now I've marked that, and then when I fold it, I fold it so that it's just right here, and I'm going to sew across that way. And since I'm sewing on the pull fabric, I'm going to have to use the stabilizer on top so that I can sew across. Pouches basically done. The outer one is done and the inner one is done on each of these. Now I'm going to put the bias tape all around, so as a nice border for this. And to keep everything still, I did put one pin on each side of the seams right there, so that the fabric stays together and where I want it to be. So I want to start the bias tape on the back side, so where it's upside down, because this will be the front. This is what you'll see as the pouches are attached to the belt. So I want to start it in the back so that we won't really see the seam.
So I'm not going to go too far into detail on what to do for embroidery, because I had pretty much a whole video about that a couple weeks ago. So you can check that out, and I'll leave a card pop up to that video. But basically all I'm doing is putting in my son's name and embroidering it out all in orange. So after the embroidery finished, I decided to add some more detail to the side that had his name on it. So I fussy cut some Pokemon out of the fabric, and fussy cut just means cutting out the shape of something. And then I appliqued them on the side of the belt with his name on it.
Okay, so we've finished the pouches, except for putting on the Velcro things, which I still have yet to do, but we're on the Velcro section. So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same yellow that I used on Rhiannon's belt. Velcro is a brand name, actually, and what it's called outside of the brand is hook and loop. And this is the hook side, it's the scratchy side, and the soft side is called loop. So you always want the loop to be on the side that's really going to be shown, and the hook to be on the side that's not usually going to be shown. So this is the front side. This half here is the front side of the belt. This is the inside of the belt. So I'm going to put this strip right here, and we're going to keep it this length. And I'm going to cut off probably about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of the hook, and I'm going to put it on the inside over here. And that's where that's going to be sewn. So let me pin these down.
the final step in this whole thing of making this awesome Pokébelt is putting the blue bias tape all around the edges of the belt to close it in and seal it up.